Welcome back. Welcome back. This is A Mountain Echo. It's your boy Frankie, and that's Jonah Gallegos. Uh, NM Prep Co Sports. Don't forget it.
There you go.
What's
There
up,
you
brother?
go.
Hey, it's been a long day. Jonah made me do a bunch of work last minute. We're not gonna fight about it.
Our
How you doing, man?
first, our first, our first production fight. Hashtag.
It's been
I'm doing well,
a long
Frankie. Thank you
day.
for asking. I'm
Good.
doing good. I'm doing good.
You've been busy covering a lot of basketball. I'll admit I didn't pay as much attention to this tournament after maybe Friday. I know there was two over in the north side of New Mexico, but yeah, we're getting started. It's December 14th. It's for week. Is it week 3 now of December? We got some
Oof.
wrestling, basketball. What else?
Yeah, basketball and wrestling, baby. I guess that's it.
The Dallas Cowboys are eliminated from playoffs. Can't forget that.
Technically, there's a chance if Eagles lose, but all the games. But yeah, we're done. Just,
Yeah.
just end it now. Just give us the elimination post.
Nothing says Christmas like Cowboys can't make the playoffs. So
Hey, there's growth on my part because I didn't let it affect me this time as much. That's just like
you're learning.
I'm learning. Yeah, I'm accepting the inevitable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, today is going to be a pretty chill uh, episode. We have really structured as far as like basketball and wrestling. Those are the two sports that are happening right now. So, um, not a lot of big headlines or anything kind of running through. It's just going to be covering the tournaments, which are awesome. I think it's huge news for us that we were able to travel as like a city into the northern part of New Mexico and dominate. Where by the championship round, it was all Las Cruces teams. So that's always cool to see. Uh, Jonah, want to get us started with that?
Yeah. So we had the Joe Armijo tournament in Albuquerque Academy. Mayfield and Centennial opposite sides. Mayfield beat Academy, Clovis, and of course Centennial in the final round. Centennial beat Del Norte, Sandia, which was a kind of an upset in a triple overtime, and then almost had Mayfield. They led by six or so in the fourth quarter, and maybe they just ran out of legs because they did play a lot of minutes the night before. But Mayfield actually was behind in all of their three games they played in the tournament, and it never phased them. They never got down by probably 10 or more. And in basketball, what we see with NBA, college, nothing's really a big lead until you get like to the 20-point mark.
Yeah.
But and then we had Cruces win the Hub City tournament in Belen. They played Oregon Mountain, their rival. Cruces beat who did they beat? Rio Grande, Goddard, and of course OM. Oregon Mountain beat Cathedral and Belen, the host team, and it was a good weekend in basketball. I got to watch all the games, including last night's I guess buzzer beater by Corey Patterson from Mayfield. He made it with 2 seconds left, and it sealed the game for Mayfield. But there is some high quality play by um, all four teams. I was really impressed the amount of points these young kids can put up in high school basketball. Like it's just wild to me. Like um, Jaden Brisby for Cruces, their big man, number 23, had 30 points yesterday against Oregon Mountain. Emmett McDaniel for Oregon Mountain had, I think, like 17 or 16 points yesterday. And then there was a 27-point performance by Fernie Corona against Clovis, 26-point performance by Homer Walsh for Mayfield. Uh, Cooley, 2 for Centennial, had 23 the first game. Trayson Huntsman had 21, and their buzzer beater that sent them to double overtime to save the Centennial Hawks for against India, and it was a good weekend. So I'm really proud. of these kids and these coaches. I know a lot of the coaches want us to focus on the kids, but for you to be that leader and for them to buy in and all that, we want to shout out the coaches too. So shout out to Coach Carrillo, Benjamin, Trujillo, and McBroom. Solid performance this weekend. Way to represent the Dirty South. So, and
No,
even Coach Selby, their team made it to the Joe Armijo Girls Classic and played the defending back-to-back state champs Sandia. Only lost by 12, but to get there they had to beat Cleveland, who's always a decent program in whatever sport you play. So
yeah, you said it really well, and I'm really impressed by what you just did there because there's no stats on online. So how
you
are
know
you
who
getting
takes
this information?
you know who takes these stats, who marks them one by one, is me. I, I watch those games and I just stay with it. I used to be able to do rebounds, assists, points, but then I realized that I might go crazy if I do all that by myself. So
Yeah,
maybe when you go with me next time, I'll just put you in charge of rebounds and assists or something. But yeah, it's literally me just tallying up the points for every player, writing some notes down that I think stood out in the game. You know, hey, this guy fouled out at this certain time, or this guy's body language is weird at this point. That's all I really do, and I have fun doing it. It just takes a lot of time doing it, right? Because you got to watch every game. But I told you guys I am dedicated to this
that's
process, and I
crazy.
want to be one of the best. I want to represent these kids. I want these kids to be represented. So I make sure to put their names in there with their points, because you remember how cool it was back when we were in the day, seeing your name in the paper or online
Yeah, for
with your
sure.
stats. Yeah, so that's
Even
why I
just
do
your
it.
team or your school or something that's being kind of talked about, you know. No, for sure. I mean, that's why we're doing this, but I really didn't know exactly how you were getting the information. I was thinking maybe you had reached out to some of the coaches and they were sharing like box scores or something like that.
No, and in some games I do ask them to share, and it really helps me when they share because I don't have to. I'll still take notes here and there, but I do shout out to the Mayfield, Organ Mound, and Cruces coaches and staff, wherever they were sending me ones from the Friday night games. It's really just kind of make sure I'm right. There's no really official step, but it's kind of what your team, I guess, puts down.
Hmm.
But they do. I want to encourage them to on here as well. If you have your stats after every game, really, if you could just send them my way, a simple picture and like or screenshot or whatever it is that you guys take your stats on, just send them and I'll work with what I have. So that really helps me. So if you guys can do that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you heard him. No, that's super cool. And then getting back to the game or the tournament itself, um, you said that was it Centennial that had a late game that they
Yes. So
played Saturday?
they played Friday night. I think it was an 8 p.m. game actually, or maybe 6:30. Against Sandia, and they went triple overtime, and then they play the next day at 8 p.m. That's right. So they had
Mm,
all day to kind of rest their legs, but basketball, me and you try and play pickup basketball, that itself is hard. I can only imagine playing 3 games in 3 days and an extra period time game as well.
yeah, the conditioning, right? Especially early into the season, that's really important to like push your team a little bit because once you get into the pit, it's a different experience and like you need to make sure that your endurance is right, right? But that's probably a big reason why. I mean, not to take away from Mayfield, right? But good for them. Triple overtime is crazy.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that Mayfield really shouldn't even be what they are right now. I feel like a lot of people over underlook them. Sorry, no
Don't say that,
disrespect.
man. That's my favorite team. Hey, now it's my favorite team because I didn't expect it either. But yeah,
No, honestly, yeah, I'm enjoying covering them, and I hope they make a deep run into the pit. Or I hope all of them make deep runs. But 6-0, I believe. Yeah, 6-0. Um,
yep.
I think it's the first 6-0 start in program history. I say that because max preps for them doesn't go past the 2005-06 season. And so, I mean, who has the stats from way back when? So I claiming it now that that's the best start in program history. Cruces is 7-0, um, and they're just wiping the floor. They looked a little slow yesterday against Oregon Mountain. Oregon Mountain led for most of the game until like midway through the third quarter, and then Cruces just took off for that from that 30-point performance from Brisbee, and then they also had Talon Miller and of course Ben Walton getting double-digit points. And then Centennial was 4-3 now, I believe. And Oregon Mountain is 4-2. So
Okay.
yeah, and all they're gonna get tested later on too. I think they all play, at least three of them play Cleveland. In Oregon Mountain plays them this week, and maybe the other teams play them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know you sent me. This was part of the fight that we had
Yeah,
pre-production.
Frankie was
Um,
fighting with the computer and me.
I was gonna take both of you guys down all at the same time. But
That's
yeah, with
funny.
some screenshots and some pictures that you were able to scrape out. Um, there's the so this was Mayfield beating Clovis,
Clovis. Yeah,
and then some
that
highlight
was
pics.
the academy game. Fernie Corona made the all tournament team as well for that tournament.
Nice. He joined in on the live that we had on Instagram, right?
Yeah, he might have got a little
Yeah.
scared. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm one of the only people in here." Then he left right away.
And then Mayfield beating Academy,
Hmm.
64-58.
That right
That's
there is Homer Walsh, bro. He plays so old fashioned, and look at his shorts. Like he has like just the old style look, and it's just like he has some confidence. He doesn't. He's not flashy. I wrote that in my little column. Like he just does everything right. He hustles. He shoots open threes when he has to, but he gets to the basket a lot. Like he just gets easy layups, and he's not afraid to put his body on the line whenever he has to muscle his way up. But he's only a junior too, which is wild.
nice.
The young talent in our district in Las Cruces really is crazy good. So it's a good sign heading forward. But right now is it's a perfect time to take advantage of like teams like Volcano Vista, who hasn't lost in a long time to New Mexico school. They finally lost to La Cueva. La Cueva's good, but I really think Mayfield and Cruces should be top five at least in terms of coaches pool, and then Centennial Oregon Mountain at least top 10.
Yeah, I've seen clips of. Remind me his name one more time. I'm terrible with names.
This one right here, this guy,
Yes. Hmm.
Homer Walsh.
Homer. Okay. I've seen clips of him, and one thing that just stands out is how long his reach is. He's
Yeah,
super tall, but if you're able to just kind of stay at a different level as your defenders, it's just easier to shoot, given some like Larry Bird vibes.
dude, that's what I was gonna say, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like the black and white thing. I'm just gonna say it right now, but he's Larry Bird vibes for sure.
Why would you even think that?
I don't know. I just felt like if I don't know if
Just
people are
Larry.
gonna attack me or something. But
Uh,
I want to see them all these four schools in person, which we are gonna do soon. Because these kids they're physical, and some of them are really tall height wise. But like Mayfield had a couple of guys like It Williams, Corey Patterson. Most of the other kids are probably under 6 foot, maybe 5'7", 5'8".
yeah, here's a few other ones as we keep talking about them.
Yeah, and shout out to Chip Flicks.
Hmm.
Um, that's their photographer who provided these for Mayfield basketball, and who let me have access to their gallery. So solid stuff he does. He makes their highlight stuff and their so videographer and photographer. So um, really great work by him, and shout out to him for letting me do use his work.
Yeah, there's a couple guys out there that are covering the dirty South, as we say, um, different games, and it is such a difficult thing to do because
Hmm.
you need to have different settings for your camera for pictures than you would for videos. Um, Obviously, if you're using an iPhone, you could do whatever. But these guys
Yeah.
are professional, man. You can just tell the difference, and really appreciate them because yeah, that's one way that we keep up, and then we're able to talk about the games afterwards, right? So
Yeah, and shot by Matt on Instagram. He does a Crucis basketball, and he's always keeping me updated, letting me know what the score is because sadly the Belen tournament wasn't on NFHS network or
mhm.
ProView, whatever you want to call it, and so he would update me. But luckily, Mr. Danner for Oregon Mountain was able to do live videos, so when they play together, I was able to watch both schools. So it's always a help when you guys can like contact us and let us know what's going on. Just like Frankie said with wrestling and all the other sports as well.
Yeah, yeah. Wrestling was a lot of fun. We can talk about that here in a second, but anything else for the basketball? What's our schedule look like for next week or
Oof,
this
I
week?
haven't even looked. I haven't even looked at it. I know Oregon Mountain plays Cleveland, and then I think they play Hobbs in another in-city tournament uh, this weekend. I think maybe three of those schools, our schools, are going to be in it, and there's one that's not going to be in it. I can't remember who.
Yeah, we'll have to continue to update there, but it does look like Cruces is playing Da Vinci so next weekend, and that is a tournament.
Yeah, I think that's the
Um,
LC shootout or something like that.
mhm.
I don't know what it's
Okay.
called. But no, it was a good weekend. I don't know if you have any questions for the tournament, but uh, yeah, like I said, it was just really impressive and good to see. And a lot of people in the north are having these teams on their radar now. So um, just keep winning. That's a simple thing to do, right? Keep winning, whatever it
Yeah, just
takes.
keep winning. Just keep winning, and then also, I think that's earned, right? When you can get a target on your back, it's not a bad thing. Um, that means that people want something that you have. I'm
And
looking here at the standings. Go ahead.
no, yeah, it's a good problem to have. So I'm very confident in all four.
I just pulled up the standings for boys basketball, and Rio Rancho is number one, La Cueva is number two, Cruces is three, and Mayfield is four.
Where do they have Volcano Vista at?
Volcano Vista is eight.
Really, Max Preps has them at that?
This is, um, I know there's like a coaches pool, but this is just what the standings say on Max Preps.
Interesting. Wow.
Hmm.
Well, that's a cool, different look. No, I forgot about Rio Rancho too. I know Steve Heredia, who started out at Centennial when they first built the school, was the basketball coach there, and then he went to Trisco, and now he's at Rio Rancho. So, um, I think he even coached at like Chaparral or ST one year before Centennial even opened.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly what the ranking is because once I click something else differently, uh, Volcano Vista is not even listed.
Does it say like 5A and M full ranking somewhere? Yeah.
Well, it's just classes, and then it's filtered by class 5A.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, we said it before. Max Preps does a really not so good job with explaining how they rank teams and all that. But the coaches poll is probably a little more accurate right now. I'd pull it up, but it's pretty much what I said. It's like Volcano Vista, La Cueva, almost the same. The only top 10 team from Cruces was Cruces at like 4-3, and then the other three were receiving votes. But that will change this week, I'm sure.
Jonah, my last question for you. I know I kind of prepped you before we went live here, but do you have a player of the week, a spotlight of the week for basketball?
I have. Can I pick like more than one?
Sure, man. We're making the rules as we go, so.
I can do whatever I want, huh? We're the host. I will pick for Mayfield. I'll pick the champion teams. Um, Fernie Corona, I think he does really good. I remember watching him a couple years ago, and then last year, he wasn't so active on the defensive side. But now that Coach Trujillo's there in year two, um, he said it in his interview. They just preach defense, similar to Coach Huton, where they take pride in, and defense travels. And all the coaches will say that defense wins championships. And I think that team, the whole team, bought into it. But especially Corona, who at times in the past wasn't lazy, but it seemed like he just didn't want to play defense. But now he's playing defense and he's getting steals, easy buckets. So he's one of my highlight players. So shout out to Fernie. You did excellent this weekend. I just hope you continue it, and I know you will. Just make sure remember that defense. It carries on with when the offense. Sometimes the ball is just not going to fall in the net. So, um, and then I have another one. Number two was uh Jaden Brisby, who is just tall and athletic for Cruces, and they have a lot of guys who can rotate in at that spot, um, in the big man spot. But he's the most aggressive, and he's only a sophomore. I think remember last
Oh,
year we were impressed by him just competing with Hobbs in that playoff game because Hobbs had some big and older dudes who were big in muscle size and whatnot, and he was a little skinnier back then. Now you see him gaining a little meat on him and his muscles, um, but he runs a court well, he defends well, and it's scary to see that he's only a sophomore. And imagine in the next 2 years where this Cruces team can be and where he can be individually. I'm sure he's getting looks already, but um, yeah, he just scores with ease, and there's not really anyone in this besides Cooley too, who's also an impressive tall. But I don't know if any other big men in this area, Las Cruces area, can keep up with him right now, at least. So those are my two guys.
cool. Shout out to them. So Fernie and Jaden,
Yes, sir.
spotlights of the week, brought to you by Jonah Gallegos and in Prepco Sports.
Yeah, but we were. I know I was busy with basketball this whole weekend. You all of a sudden were at the Cruces wrestling meet. You said over 50 schools, I believe, or is that right?
Yep. Hmm.
And dude, you sent me, I think Mrs. Ranga for LCBS, and you were like posting pictures on your individual accounts, and there was a lot of people. That gym was full. I don't think I've seen that gym full since like an assembly at Cruces back in the day.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people. Um, Before I talk about wrestling itself, whoever puts it on, I don't know if it's Las Cruces High School who organizes the concessions. Um, but I was so hungry, and they had a bunch of vendors, but you had to buy from like the one table. So
Oh,
you couldn't just like go and get elote. If you wanted to get elote, you had to get in line with like the popcorn and the drinks and like all the other stuff. That ticked me off. I was there all day, and I had like a 30-minute break until or we all did,
yeah.
until the finals started, and there was just a long line.
But
But
one, they had a elote there.
they did have elote, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And it was like aguas frescas. You could get aguas de melon. There was limonada. I think there was jamaica, horchata.
I have a question.
It's New Mexico,
Um,
baby. What are you
Yeah,
talking
I have
about?
a question though for like wrestling. I don't. You have more experience with this, but can those athletes like what do they do? Do they eat mid like that type of stuff, or do they have like little snacks? Like I don't know. And that might be a dumb question, but I don't really know that.
Yeah. You have to make sure that you have energy for the fights or your bouts. Um, but you don't want to be like killing your system and start cramping, eat too much sugar. But once you've weighed in the day before, it might be the morning
You're good.
of the start, you're good. Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah.
You even
Okay, that
even
makes
drinking
sense.
water, you start to gain the weight back that you may have cut for.
Yeah, so that's like with any other athlete, you don't want to like cramp yourself, but yeah, I was
Mhm.
concerned. I was like, don't they have to like meet weight? Like that's interesting.
yeah, that was something that is challenging to watch. Um, the first name drop that I want to give as a shout out, her name is Natalia. I'm trying to find it on my notes because you just reminded me of it.
Hmm.
But she is from Centennial, and it was a really exciting match. It kind of draw me towards it when there's five mats in one gym. You kind of have to be bouncing around, but um, there she was like going to battle at one point, and you could tell that the girl was a little bit bigger than her. And I went and I asked one of the coaches why that was happening because there's no way that they were like the same size. And the
Yeah.
reality was is that she wanted to fight, and so she needed to go up in weight class. Um,
Oh, in
I'm
order
trying to
to
find.
have a match.
In order for her to just have enough matches,
Yeah.
you kind of have to choose a weight class that's closest to you, just so you can get some experience, right?
So what did
I'd
you eat? Peanut
assume
butter jelly sandwiches?
no. I mean, if I'm trying to find the exact weight class, just so that I can give you the perspective. Um, I
Oh,
wrote
you're.
4 pages of notes
I
in
was gonna say
like
you have
4 hours.
to go through your chicken scratch.
Oh yeah, this baby is it's bad. Um, but I I circled it too.
You take your time.
She's like 5 pounds under what was supposed to be her actual weight. But what happens in that situation is that you don't cut. There's no like change in that. So the girl was significantly taller than her, and when they're wrestling, she was getting kind of thrown to the ground, and you could tell she was just exhausted. It went 3 rounds, 3 rounds, and she was just battling throughout it all. There's a mental fortitude that you need to do this sport, and it was awesome to see. Uh, Afterwards, the girls were like emotional. Guys are like bloody everywhere, which is
Damn.
a normal thing there, but you could just feel the excitement and a lot of energy as there's 800 participants in this event. So shout out to Natalia.
Yeah. And in terms of like the schools here, did they score as a team or how does that? Is it like track kind of?
Yeah, so the guys that were represented there and girls were both Cruises and Centennial more significantly, but there was a lot of Oregon Mountain on day two. I was only able to be there for day two. So if you don't win enough of your matches the first day, you are essentially sent home. Uh,
Yeah.
you don't continue on.
I mean, it's a
And
tournament, right?
exactly, it's a tournament. And I was trying to explain it to you. There's about 15 weight classes. So you have 15 tournaments going on at the same time on 8 mats. So they do start to cut off a lot of these kids pretty early
Jeez.
on, or at least day one. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you lose like single elimination, or do you go like to a losers bracket?
Yeah, there's a losers bracket. You'll
Oh,
wrestle a
okay.
couple times and then they'll gauge to see where you're at. It also depends on how many people are in your weight class.
Mm.
The last about 2 hours is like the finals round, and that was for either first or second or third or fourth. And then all day on day two, you were essentially trying to get into your different placed matches. So
Oh,
you had two before you got to winning some type of medal or trying to get placed.
dang. So
Hmm.
did you happen to see any of these like brackets, like which weight class had the most kids, or does that make sense, or athletes?
Yeah, the Las Cruces Bulldogs girls wrestling got second in the overall tournament, and it goes based off of points. So everything matters. Even if you lose, you want to make sure that all your points are correct. So when there's like a pin and maybe you were even winning and you got pinned, so you technically lost. All those
Hmm.
points matter. And so you saw a lot of times coaches were actually stepping up for their kids and saying, hey, you need to make sure that the points are right. There was some kind of disputes on, not if they won or lost, but making sure that with the referee, because he has a wristband and he's
Yeah,
got a red and he's got a green, and he's putting up the number of points that each wrestler is scoring. And you're just hoping that the kids that are sitting at the table are one paying attention and two click the button right, because it's just
yeah.
they're just on a laptop clicking it. So
No, that's like my as like a journalist and someone obsessed with stats. That's my biggest pet peeve is when people don't get stats right. Like in church softball, you'll hear me yelling at the scorekeeper, like, "Hey, we just scored right there. I don't care what it is, what sport, what type of league it is. I'm gonna make sure the score is right."
yeah,
So yeah, and that's a big job for those students. I mean, they're volunteers, pretty much keeping track of the score and all that. So um, hopefully, we have the resources one day to kind of have like more upper people to handle that. But it is what it is.
yeah, I think it's really challenging. You had said before we got started, it's like it'd be really cool to do this. You do not want to mess with how a tournament is organized in any martial arts setting, even if it's wrestling, taekwondo, what I'm used to. So many weight classes, so many different things going on. Um, and there's just kids who are just everywhere. So even to get them at the right mat, how do you organize where everybody's supposed to be at? It's really challenging to do that. Um, but I wanted to give a shout out to um, a lot of our other schools that we kind of talked about last year around wrestling. Silver City was a popular school towards the end of the day. If your school is being representative at the end of the day, at the end of a tournament, that means that you did good. Silver City was out there, Deming was out there, Las Cruces High School was out there. There was a lot of Franklin and Cleveland from outside of our area. Um, and just to give you an example of how big this tournament was, I got confused because there was Chaparral, New Mexico, and then there was a Chaparral, California.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So
California.
I saw
That's a
both of them and I'm
drive.
like, they were like the Pumas. And I'm like, wait, Chaparral's not the Pumas?
They switch logos that quick.
Quick. I'm like, how'd they get canceled? Something happened. Something happened
They
to the
get
mascot.
canceled. You never know.
Yeah, but it was neat. Teams like Eastwood were there as well. But Jackie Castille, is it Castile? I think is her last name. She is weight class one, the 145. She got fifth place. Jazz got second in the 100 weight class. Um, she beat a girl from Franklin, and those Franklin girls are tough, man. Franklin is a tough school. They're intimidating because they got like black and purple uniforms that are just like I don't know. But their coaches were getting warned a couple times because they did not care about like their kids being in the corner.
Oh,
And so they're making announcements of like, get off the mats, get away. And they were all standing there. Just, it was kind of frustrating. Uh, yeah. I'm trying to see what
anyone?
else here.
Yeah, I mean you have a lot of notes, but I'm sure you get to the Cruces people too. I think you said Colby. Remember Colby from last time you mentioned? How'd he do?
Uh, Not a whole lot to report on Colby,
Oh really?
just because that boy's a dog. It's not even fair. It's not. Um, I got there around 11 and he's sitting down chilling. He had already won the matches he needed to win. So I didn't really catch him until the end. And he wrestled a kid from California. I'll tell you exactly how it went. He gets his left hand, grabs the kid's left hand, and like pulls him. And then like He's just, it's like a, you can tell there's an immediate mismatch. Grabs his wrist again and pulls him again, turns him around, pins him. That's it. That's the whole thing. Um, this kid from California gets off the mat and he tells his friends, like, what the heck just happened? In more vulgar terms. They get on Instagram and they look this kid up and they're like, what is happening right now? This kid is sponsored. They're having a full conversation about who Kobe is.
I mean, yeah, we talked about him last year. He's what beating he's wrestling adults and stuff and his other,
Mhm.
whatever other type of martial arts he does, but dude's a dog, man.
Yeah, he's a beast. And right after him is the 165 wrestling class there. And Carlos Gamboa, he won the first place for that. He wrestled against Eastwood. It was a really good fight. It took some time, but what I noticed about that is that Colby was actually on the side as like a quasi coach. I think those two kids are really close. They're a good friendship there. So it was really neat to see that um, he did really well last year as well. Carlos did. I remember reporting that he had placed in state, and it's hard to like really gauge like, okay, what's going to happen in state because it's one on one. It's you against another person, right? And being able to win a tournament for this size, it's a really good sign for both Colby and for Carlos as he's working towards another state championship.
Yeah. No, it's always good whenever you have I guess on the field coaches, whether it be in wrestling or football or basketball. And it speaks volumes to the coaches too. So shout out to the Cruces coaches and um, having their kids represent like that. And obviously, Colby's a really awesome kid and high up there. Um, but when you have other players mentoring your other players, it feels good whenever you have that guy behind you. You got that kid, I guess, who got your back. So that's cool.
Yeah, you don't really get the team aspect of wrestling in the moment, but it is such a vibe. There's such a rush to be able to have your team watching your bout, um, but also seeing like you're wrestling at the same time, and maybe your teammate is on the other mat in the same gym, and everybody's kind of cheering on, and you can kind of feel the energy. And like I said, later on in the day, as you start to feel like, okay, these matches mean a little bit more. Um, Having your team there, it's awesome. It is a team sport. You're all playing or wrestling for the number one team in the tournament, so everything matters. Even if you're fighting for fifth, you don't want sixth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's super cool. I loved it. I texted you and I'm like, dude, this I love doing this wrestling and just being around it. There's a lot of camaraderie. Even the fighters once they're done, just hugging each other, being like, "Bro, you gave it all you had. I gave it all I had," and like, there's nothing else that you could have done differently. Um, and so, what else is there to do than just to hug it out? You know, it's like, bro, we emptied our tanks.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I you sent a couple of videos and like highlights, and I was like, oh wow, that's like I never and will never do any type of combat sport like that. Um, but yeah, it was cool to see, and I'm sure they appreciate the coverage. Um, you don't really hear much about wrestling or anything, and not because people don't want to cover it. It's just there's so many other sports too. But um, shout out to you for being there most of the day. I mean, you like you said, you got there around 11. I'm pretty sure you're there to about the evening time because I was like, "Where's Frankie?" And you're still putting out videos of the wrestling people. So
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I wanted to shout out also Keegan Engel. He's in the 285 weight class and he got third place.
for which school?
Centennial.
Nice,
Hmm.
Santonio.
And I think the reason why it's there's not a lot of coverage on wrestling is because you will have 8 matches and one event at the same time. So unless you win first, um, it doesn't get covered much. It could be confusing to follow to know what's happening.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
I text you and Steven how many times that his sister Stephanie was wrestling, and I'm like, I think she's trying to get. Is she getting placed right now? I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, and like you said it was hard to, I guess, organize those type of events. So
Mm,
I'm sure LCPS or whoever puts them on will get better at it too. Hopefully. Huh.
yeah. Kalain Rios got third place in the 126.
Tocayo.
My Tocayo. That's a cuz. Tocayo is when you have your first name shared. So
Excuse me.
you're excused. Um, Cisneros, I think Alessio. Um, she got fourth. The girls got second in it, so I think they placed a lot more. I tried to scan my stuff and put it on the computer. Um, there's my second grief on the tournament is there's only one place that you can find names and where you can find matches. So I had to be walking back and forth to like the one TV screen in the back of the aux gym to get it down. So I just wrote mat number and weight class and who had won and like what school. So that's why I'm struggling to get through this now. But maybe I'll write something for you and we can put it on your Substack.
Oh yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, and anything else on wrestling or any other sports?
No, I think we're good. Oh, the men's basketball for the Aggies. Uh, they lost again to Tulsa, 70-83.
Yeah, I glanced at it here and there just because I was mostly trying to focus on the high school sports this weekend. But I know they just had a terrible first half. Tulsa, I guess, shot really good from 3-point range. And then the Aggies fought back. They were down by at least 7 or 6 second half, but I think it was like a almost 20 or 20 plus deficit at halftime. So I know there's not panic in Coach Ewan's voice because I did listen to some of the interviews, but there's concern about all of a sudden his team is pretty much, to me, like forgetting their identity and just kind of having some mental lapses in games and also at practices. So, like I said before, it's nothing to panic about heading forward because now we're heading into conference play. Um, but that first half was a little concerning, and Coach Ewan, expects standards, some certain standards he set for these players, and for them to all of a sudden kind of just, uh, I guess, not disregarding them, but just having those mental mistakes is a little like, oh. But new season pretty much with conference coming up, so.
Yeah, it's a new season. Hopefully, treat this as a. I mean, I don't want to say treat it as like preseason because we were pretty excited when we got to 6-0. Um,
Hmm.
so they do mean these games do mean something, but we also don't know what our conference looks like. I was able to actually watch a little bit of the Liberty game this
Okay.
past week. I forgot who they played. It was a solid team, and they got their butts handed to as well.
Really?
Um, yeah, they struggled. Liberty was chosen or is the favorite to win Conference USA, and they didn't look that sharp either. They didn't look like they were playing their best ball. It's basketball is a streaky sport, man. You have to figure out, like you said, your identity, and it's just something where you need to find some momentum. Things click at the right time, and sometimes they stop clicking, and you have no idea why. Um, and I've never played basketball in my life other than pickup, but I'd imagine it's very similar to golf, where you're swinging a golf club, and it's like one day to the next, you have no idea what you're doing to that. Where are your hands? How to swing a club? It's just all gone. And so I don't know, man. Just keep hitting the gym. Just trying to figure out what the issues are, and kind of forget about it. Forget about the
Yeah,
good. We're 6-0. We're struggling a little bit here, but ready to rock and roll into the new year with one. We got one more game on. Now it's on Sunday, right? Next week.
yeah. Sam Houston, which is Coach Ewan's old school,
Hmm.
Sunday at 2, I believe. So they're gonna compete with the NFL schedule. So I don't expect too many fans in attendance, but um, yeah, it's just a weird day.
Yeah.
But kind of speaking on like your like just forgetting like your mental stuff with sports, that's sports in general, huh? Like with football, I mean, some days you're just on it as a receiver, just every ball comes your way, you're snagging it in the air, and the next day you're dropping a bubble screen or something. It's just about now that I'm older, I'm like it's just about the next play, like just move on. Like so, in terms of Aggies, just next game, let's just forget about all these other games. Who cares? We started 6-0. Who cares that we lost three in a row? Just start over, make a new streak. And I think that's what teams in the past for the Aggies have done. I mean, Coach Jan's teams would get blown out sometimes by a random team that we probably shouldn't lose to or something, or they had a
Yeah.
good chance, and then they start a 17 game win streak. Same with like Marvin Menzies days. So there's hope. Don't panic, Aggie fans.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is dwell on it as a player, at least, right? Dwelling on the mistakes that you made, learn from them, and pick up on tendencies that maybe you figured out were good, and then just kind of get rid of whatever was bad and just move forward. Because if you keep dwelling on it, you're just gonna kind of get stuck in that bad mojo and kind of keep that negative funk in your play. So, and that's for life as well. That's why sports is beautiful, because you need to do that in your own life and learn from the mistakes, get better from the mistakes, and just keep on keeping on. Um, then we have the women's basketball. Our women's basketball team did win. They beat Western. It was 76-44. So a little bit of a butt kick in there.
Yeah, and I think the game before they beat Utah Tech, which is last week maybe. But they're on a little streak of their own, so I think they start conference play this upcoming weekend as well. And it's also I think it's pretty important to consider or think about that these kids also had finals week this past week. They're trying to. I remember, finals week. No matter what type of degree you're trying to get, it's a stressful week. Um, and I know Coach Huon said, their schedule is a little different this week, and then, but he said, right away we're getting back to practice. We're doing that, so that's a right away getting back to practice is a good chance to start new and get over the hump they're in. Um, but speaking of New Mexico State, I also want to say congratulations to Gunnar Guardiola, committed to New Mexico State baseball. Really could have probably committed to a smaller or Division 2 or JUCO or even a small Division 1 school because it's in football because he was great at that position as well, a quarterback. But I believe he's going to commit or head to New Mexico State for his pitching, if that sounds correct.
Yep. Hmm.
Um, um, and that's a good program to be a part of. We have a lot of not a lot of, but a lot of MLB um, type of players coming out of that program. Nick Gonzalez, Joey Ortiz, Kyle Bradish, and a couple other guys that are in the AAA um, affiliated teams. So exciting! That's really kudos to Gunner and that coaching staff of baseball and football.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And like you said, New Mexico State baseball has produced a lot of athletes that play professionally and are successful. So,
Hmm.
a good lineage that he's joining there in New Mexico State baseball. So hopefully we can continue to cover him, see what he does. Um, that's going to change also a little bit, not necessarily change, but makes me now curious to see where some of these the other two of the three-headed monster for the Cruces High offense with my tocayo Francisco Winikoff, and then also for Danny Amaro. where they might go. I had heard some whispers around the rumor mill that they were at least contemplating an opportunity for all three of them to play together. Now with um, Gunner deciding to go play baseball for New Mexico State, we'll see. That's going to be interesting to see where they go. So, and also
Hmm.
still no word on kid from Centennial on where he will be going. So we'll see what he decides, Mr. Matherly.
Yeah, it's like the Wild West for college right now, and
Mm-hmm.
so I know a lot of these kids on my ex tag me with their offers, and like it's really a huge accomplishment to even being offered. But I was gonna write something up about commitment, but you don't know when until the last second really about where these kids are gonna go. Um, so yeah, maybe Gunner changes his mind last second, but I don't know if that's even doable. But with the other two, I've seen offers from like Nimi and out of state colleges and whatnot. So I think Nimi would be a cool place to go. It's a cool little campus. I mean, they helped develop Pavia, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of other guys that have gone through that program, including like a Centennial lineman. I think his last name is Gonzalez. Um, and a lot of Hobbs and Alamogordo athletes have gone through that program as well.
yeah. I think that is a route that kids should consider, especially if you're not highly recruited or really your value isn't being properly appraised, let's say. Um, because, like you see, Diego Pavia, he was able to go to a junior college and develop not only his skills as a football player, but also as just a human body. You just get older in 18 or 17 to 18 and like 19 to 20. So different during those times. You can hit the gym a little bit different. Everything's just so different that if you can set yourself up where you can have 4 years of eligibility heading into 19, 20 years old, depending on when you graduated, that might be the best option for you, especially because of how NIL works. um, you do have opportunities where even 1 year for a big school to pay you a good amount of money to not only do that but to also go to school because you're a student athlete, right? And so an education is
Yeah.
important. But some of these kids are getting life changing money, man, and it's pretty crazy that it's happening. I'm glad it is. In general, I'm glad this is happening. Some of the other headaches of commitment, of transfer portal, of how easy it is to get up and leave. Those things can be fixed, but I'm glad that um, sports are a way for kids to not only get an education, but also give them a pretty good start to life. So
Yeah, that is huge. That's a good way to look at it. I know a lot of people on social media are kind of always just the way they put it sounds like they're hating on the kids, but hey, they're just doing what they got to do. And don't blame uh, the kids. Blame the system that for all that. I thought it was cool that Diego Pavia is on all these podcasts now, and hopefully we'll have him on here someday. Um, but he was on the Pivot, and they were just talking about the NIL money. He says that he doesn't even touch it; he gives it to his mom to invest in like properties and real estate. Obviously, probably flipping houses, Airbnbs, and all that. And I thought that was
taking Theo Vaughn to dinner.
I'm probably
I guess
taking
Theo's
Theo
taking.
Von to dinner. But yeah, if I don't want to like coach any kids what to do with their money, but yeah, just be smart with it, whatever you get. But there are some ways to get life changing money and to better yourself and your family's life. So that's exciting. So I wanted to kind of just concur with you, and yeah, it's a good system for these kids to to get paid what they deserve and also get education.
Yeah, getting an education is a good long-term investment. But if you can get paid to do something that you enjoy to do and that you're really good at, and the school is making a ton of money off of you, come on now. We could figure out
Hell
the
yeah.
rest of like the semantics of it later, and that's what we're doing now. But bro, give Reggie Bush back his Heisman Trophy. Let's say that. I'll say that right now. Kids were getting paid before. Now all of a sudden, I don't know. But Speaking of money, dog, I got some big news for you. I got a little bit of an announcement here. We've been working on this for a little bit. I wear this isn't just a mistake here. Let me tell you real quick. I wear surf and turf all the freaking time. I know Taylor Artman, the owner and co-founder of Surf and Turf Golf, and he has been a good friend of mine. He's been a good help and a good advice giver, a fan of our show when we were just like a little podcast, just in working with Julian over at Fat Crates. And man, surf and turf is like golf's best kept secret. No matter where you go, uh, you will see surf and turf being worn. You'll see it at the airport. You'll see it on the bus. It's like a mystery. Uh, and I guarantee you that your favorite golfer wears surf and turf off the golf course. Um, they'll wear their Nikes, they'll wear their Travis Matthew, they'll wear their Adidas, but surf and turf is what you wear off the golf course because it's a lifestyle brand. It's a um, it's a really good logo. It's really cool, like surf and turf. You kind of think of food or whatever. But they have joined us. They've partnered with us. And so we're going to be putting their logo up, and that is a QR code. And what they're going to be doing is giving our followers, our community, 20% off their entire purchase. Um, Not just for the holidays, but it's going to be for a while. They're going to be helping us for a little bit. So this is pretty cool, Jonah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were really stoked about this whenever
Mhm.
Frankie worked it out with Taylor, right, Taylor?
Yep. Hmm.
And so, yeah, we're really excited. I mean, 20% off, 20% off anything these days is really like a help to anyone. So, I encourage you. I know there's a promo code you guys could use. You can scan this or use the promo code. Um, and yeah, go check out their stuff. Frankie wears their hats all the time. I'm about to quote me some hats,
I
and
got some like I have them everywhere. This is surf and turf. This shirt is surf and turf.
it's quality stuff. Like he's shown me this
Yeah, yeah.
in person, and it's high quality stuff. So yeah, even if like, um, and I don't, and if you want to cut this part out, Frankie later, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying it, but like,
No,
if
it's
team,
go ahead. There's
oh
only our big fans will be here, so we need your help. If you're listening to this, we appreciate you. We're now this is a team meeting here. Go ahead.
yeah, it's just about like if teams or like coaches or like staff want to like get orders in bulk, like contact Frankie
Mhm.
or me or one of our personal pages or email Echo or Random Prepco Sports, and we'll set that up for you. Like we'll get it done. So yeah, it's really exciting times. We're, um, I guess, quote unquote, leveling up. I'm just saying, and so help us out, help the community out. It's a really big deal that they're even considering to help us at this time.
Yeah, Surf and Turf doesn't do this. Like I said, um, now this is more just us talking here, whoever you're listening. We see the analytics. 57 minutes into the episode, diehards are here right now. Um, Surfer Turf is doing something really cool for us. Not only on being able to allow folks to get 20% off, but we can't share too much about what they're doing, but there's going to be some really good opportunities where they can create some of the apparel that it can be a lifestyle brand wear for Las Cruces. Um, there's some things that are already in mock-ups that we're working on that is going to represent Las Cruces. Got some stuff that's going to represent Mesilla, and then specific teams as well. So um, Taylor is someone who we have direct access to. This is like knowing Phil Knight at Nike. This is what Surf and Turf and what the partnership we have with Surf and Turf looks like. And they are really a community. They do a lot of stuff for high school sports, not only for golf themselves, um, but they have been helping with a lot of like personal hats, a lot of like personal or custom um, team hats, whether it be for resale or if they're giving it away. They partner with a lot of the schools and they do that kind of thing, right? And so it wouldn't be new for them to be able to support a school here in Las Cruces or anywhere else where we really wouldn't have access to that. Maybe Nike doesn't want to touch us, or Adidas doesn't want to touch us. And what my old roommate, this is how well I know Taylor. He is my old roommate. I used to work with him, but I lived with this man, and he's given us access to some really cool things. So um, if there's any questions, if you see his stuff online, um, and you follow him, take a look at it. If you like it, send it to us and be like, hey, can we do something like this? Would that be something that's doable? Yes, the answer is yes. And there's some cool things already coming along. But our ask for you is to share and like everything that we put out, that we're trying to quote unquote sell. Even if you don't need to buy it, if you don't want it, uh, Surf and Turf, this code is for everybody. It doesn't have to be for Las Cruces alone. But if they see a discount code, if anyone out there sees a discount code, they do stuff for Oklahoma, for Texas, all over Texas. They have like Oregon Ducks hats and stuff. So this is a national company that's giving us one of the best discounts in the country. And if anybody uses it, um, it helps him, but it also help us. There is some kickback for us, and we can use that money to give it back to the community that we also have some really cool plans for. So um, even if we can use Las Cruces as like a crowd, what do they call it? Like crowdfunding, but not in money, but as in likes and in like uh, um, little clicks and comments on stuff, so that it can catch an algorithm and go get, you know, 100 different people somewhere else. We can start to bring that money back to Las Cruces. So, and whether it be paying off kids' school lunches, or being able to set up and invite somebody who's an expert on recruiting and um, finance management for these kids who start getting money, right? So there's a lot of opportunities there, and I'm ranting, but it's super exciting to just see where this can bring us. So we'll cut a promo. We might make something new, but they're going to be here with us for a while, and we're excited for it.
No, all that's valid information, so you weren't really ranting. Um, Listen to Frankie. We Frankie is really the mastermind of all this, but he has really good ideas of how we can use what we get and put it back into the community. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for listening, and yeah,
Yeah, appreciate y'all. It's not all about the money. We do want to highlight that. That's always like at the end we're terrible salesmen. We probably should have had that code the whole time. If you noticed, it was the QR code was on like one of the other screens. But we do want to make it a focus on covering Las Cruces athletics. Um, but with that being said, there's also a lot of things that do require financial security, not only for us,
hmm
but to be able to provide certain things that are missing, that I and that we have seen in other areas. So your support is enough. I'm glad you're tuning in. I'm glad you're learning about the different things that are happening. We're going to continue to do better. We're going to continue to grow and become more professional. Um, and so if even if we just start getting $5 or $6 at a time, and we can kind of spread it out in different ways, we have some ideas even for that. So even like our clipping stuff cost $5. So little things like that are really cool. We're not asking for your money. Just click, put a like, a share, and it all does generate some type of involvement where businesses do want to help. So this isn't taking money from the little people. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
well said, well said, and shout out to Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Taylor Ardman, national champion, golf national champion, PGA. He's also won. There's a World Series of putting. He's champion on that as well. Yeah. Um, he's really good at golf. Um, Maybe what they also do is they do golf tournaments. He if oh, here's another thing. If you want a handicap, he does have a access to a he has a golf club. He in the golf world, it's considered he doesn't own green. They don't have green, which means they don't have like a well, they don't have grass, right? Um, but what he does have is affiliations with different golf courses, and so you can actually get a certified handicap through Surf and Turf Club, and you can use your membership to go to the specific golf courses um, that he works with, and a lot of them honor his Surf and Turf Golf Club as if you're a member of that golf course, because they work with him. So now instead of having one membership where maybe you're a member at Picacho Hills, um, your membership's not going to work at Sonoma Ranch, or it's not going to work if you go to California. Um, but he's got golf courses that he works for all over the country. And so if you're a part of the Surf and Turf Club, you can be a part of different events that are happening all over the United States. So if you're a golfer, that's another. That's why I'm saying it's a kept secret, because all these golfers are like, this is a really good deal on all the other little things that he has going on. So support
That's
them.
sick.
They're growing. They're doing some really cool stuff, and we'll keep talking about it. All the different stuff that's going on with him. Um, there's some partnership where we're going to bring more value to him than they do for us, and it's just going to go back and forth. So it'll be cool. Um, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, guys, have a good one. Be nice out there. Give someone a hug. Give
Bye.
someone a hug this week.
Little hug, big kiss, little kiss.
Little keys.